Good afternoon, welcome to the Market Wrap, number 134, Stuart Williamson here at the helm. Welcome you today to the West End Langkawi. It's pretty hot, beautiful place, still getting back up to speed after COVID, very sad for it. We're here doing some management training and also a regatta. We're overall third at the moment, so it's not going brilliantly, and there's no wind, which isn't great. But anyway, thank you for joining. This week we're going to cover a variety of different topics, which is basically what is the Zoopla rental market, what's it saying, Scotland's increasing stamp duty, Canada's banning foreign buyers, the build-to-rent sector is growing, and UK lenders introduced forbearance measures for their beleaguered mortgagees. Why do we do this? Just to tell people a little bit about what we're all about, to tell people what's going on in the marketplace, to give time-weary and time-poor people just bite-sized bits of information they can take away and try and make use of. That's what it's all about. APW, we've been around for 30 years or so. We're basically a buyer's agent. At the end of the form, at the end of the talk, there's a form you can fill in and just tell us a bit about yourself if you'd like to hear more information. Do like, subscribe, get onto our podcasts and get onto our YouTube channel and have a good listen, subscribe if you can. Okay, so what does Zoopla say? Zoopla saying rents have risen 12% over the last year. I'm going old school this week because we are in a hotel room. Rents have risen by 12% over the last year, and they just keep on going, surging in fact. That's the message from Zoopla's latest market report. The main takeaways for you are it's structural. Demand is 46% higher than average, and the supply is 38% lower. That's not going to change anytime soon. Big cities, big rents. London, Manchester and Glasgow are leading the way. Remember the race of space? We talked about it a lot 2 years ago. It seems like everyone's racing back now. The squashy recession is saying to people, can't work from home anymore, get back into the office. Small is beautiful. Competition for one-bed flats has jumped. Demand for houses is declining. Basically, rents have peaked, perhaps. They keep on rising, but the rate of growth will probably slow down. Zoopla is predicting 45% rental growth over 2023. That's still pretty good. If you're starting with a mortgage that's slightly in deficit, it'll soon pick up, and in no time at all, you'll have a hands-free investment. Summary: the population is rising rapidly, households are shrinking, yet the number of rental properties is the same as it now was in 2015. All the factors are in place for another strong growth year. And you may recollect I said a few market wraps ago that 4 years ago it was the same price as renting a two-bed flat as it is now renting a studio in Leeds. Okay, right, secondly, Nicholas Sturgeon forces landlords and second homeowners to pay thousands more in tax, which is not actually forcing them, they don't have to buy, it's your choice. But basically what they're saying is that total stamp duty bill for a landlord purchasing a typical home in Scotland will now be £12,700, nearly 13 times the £1,000 bill for a person purchasing their primary residence. Basically, the transaction tax surcharge on additional properties has gone from 4 percentage points to 6 percentage points, which is another way of trying to get landlords out of the game. Which is an interesting thing about it, because it's such a shortage of rentals. It should be the opposite. It should be trying to encourage people to buy properties that you can rent out. Anyway, Canada has banned foreigners from buying residential property in Canada. Took effect from just last Sunday. Several exceptions allow, such as refugees and permanent residents who are not citizens, they can still buy homes. The 2-year measure was talked about by Justin Trudeau in the 2021 election. It's taken till this time to get it into action. So it's an indicator of protectionism going on, people trying to look after their own markets, and we're seeing that in a lot of places around the world, certainly places like Australia, New Zealand. The UK is still a free market economy. Virtually anyone can buy, and there aren't the same controls. JP Morgan is about to spend $1 billion on hundreds of rental properties across the US on its way to becoming a mega landlord. JP Morgan and Haven Realty have signed a deal. They'll acquire $1 billion in build-to-rent properties, starting with Atlanta. It's in America's largest banks and a growing buy-to-rent operator is the latest sign that big investors are undeterred by a volatile estate market. And that's the truth, because the same thing's happened in the UK. Legal & General have recently invested in Cardiff. They've bought 200 million Central Key BTR scheme, bringing their total investments in Cardiff alone to $1 billion. We're seeing the same in Smithfield, in Birmingham, Manchester, So build to rent is a big thing for the future. You should consider it as part of your potential portfolio. UK banks to ease pressure on mortgage lenders with their forbearance measures. Some of the UK's largest banks have agreed measures with the government to help struggling borrowers as they brace for a surge in late mortgage payments. Okay, what are forbearance measures? They were used in the 2008 financial crisis and are an attempt by banks including HSBC, Barclays, Lloyds and NatWest to avoid repossessions and paying for borrowers on top of soaring inflation and higher energy bills. Although the signs are both are coming down, natural gas prices are coming down, inflation is coming down. As I said, we're getting into a soggy recession, that's the problem. It highlights a difficult time for borrowers because there's about 1.8 million people in the UK will have to remortgage in the next 12 months as they come to an end of their fixed rate. As I've said, it's different than previously, and I'm going to hear for a minute from the Chancellor why it is different. It's different in that we don't have the same indebtedness that we had at previous financial crises. So all this end is nigh stuff, I don't frankly believe, and that's just my view, the view from APW Towers. I believe we're going to get into some soggishness, but where else can you put down, say, 25% and in 15, 16 years time get 100% back and someone else has paid that loan off? You can't do it in stocks and shares. You can't do it in cryptos, definitely. So it's not a bad idea. So the so-called forbearance measures, apparently at the meeting, one of the bankers said the tone was lean in to help, which we all are. The last thing we want to do is repossess a home. Nigel Terrington, the chief executive of Paragon, said banks are likely to achieve strong profits growth this year, so in 2022, so extra provisioning will be affordable. What is forbearance? Is basically existing fixed rate deals may be extended, new fixed rate deals may be offered, interest rate deals may be offered, all without having to go through another part of qualification. So it'll be a non-qualifying loan until you can get yourself out of the poo. Jeremy Hunt said at the meeting it was not comparable to the previous property market collapse in the global financial crisis when the number of UK homes in arrears reached 400,000. Banks are more prudent today than they'd ever been, and a lot of lending has been at the lower end of the loan-to-value range. Lloyds Banking Group, the largest mortgage lender in the UK, said just 4% of its lending was above the 80% loan-to-value ratio. John Cronin, an analyst at Goodbody, pointed out that while there are pockets of problems within loan portfolios, the listed UK banks have minimal exposure to those lower income cohorts who are most severely impacted by inflationary forces. I'm not entirely sure what that means. So what we're going to show now is a little bit of a video on what we've achieved this last year, tell you a bit more about us, plus then some shots from the sailing this last week. Again, sorry for being so technically cack-handed. I do hope you enjoy the videos. Do keep watching. Do like and subscribe if you can. And share. Fill in the form at the end if you wish to find a bit more about what's going on. Hi, apologies. Technical error there. Sorry it was truncated. Obviously I'm not quite as good on the road as I thought I was. So I do apologise, and hope to see you again next week when I'll be back in the office and hopefully not so inordinately technologically useless. Do take care. Thank you. Bye bye.